Alright. Making a video, basically kind of just documenting my truck driving career so far. I've been in it since October of last year, 2017. And so I'm still fairly new. Actually, so I'm new. It's not even fairly new, just new. But yeah, I drive for Roehl now. And what prompted me to actually make this video was, one, talk about the career, and two, I noticed a lot of the videos on YouTube, for different companies, there's not many on here for Roehl, and the few that are on here for Roehl, they're a little old and outdated. I'm not saying they're not good videos, but they're not modern. So I know when I went into getting my CDL with the company and whatnot, I went in with one expectation, but then again, these videos I was watching were 3 and 4 years old, 2, 3, 4 years old. So what happened was not the actual case. Not too far different, but not exactly the way their video said it. So this is me just updating the information. So if anybody out there comes across the video and looking for a company, and then they're possibly considering Roehl, you'll have a good baseline to go off of, because I'm pretty new out of the getting your CDL program. But yeah, so start off, my name is Raymond, from Georgia, and I went to the CDL program for Roehl in Georgia. They have a terminal in Conley, and it's basically Atlanta area, but yeah, they have a terminal in Conley. That's not the only place they go, where they send people to go get their CDL, but that's the place where I went. If you are pulling what I pull, which is dry-van, that's where you're going to go, is Conley, Georgia. If you're pulling refrigerated or flatbed, you're going to go to the terminal in Gary, Indiana, which is a really nice facility. But yeah, basically started with Roehl in October, and got my license around mid-November. But everybody asks common questions, what's orientation like, what's all those kind of things. So I'll just give a run through that. I'll go through everything since this is the first video. Before I hit that, a little bit about myself. Before I started driving trucks, I was a cop for 5.5 years. I loved it, loved every second of it. Unfortunately, the department I worked for just didn't pay that well, and having a family, I needed to do something where I could make more money. I grew up in a trucking family. My dad's been driving for 25, 30 years, my entire life. I'm only 27. But yeah, he's been driving trucks as long as I know, so he's been driving for a long time. And I know that trucking can be very good to you. You have, your first year or two, you're considered a rookie. You have to make your impression into the industry. You got to start, and pay is not going to be the best, but it'll pay off in the long run. And that, no matter what you do, you keep a good, clean record, get some experience under your belt, and you can basically throw your application anywhere and get hired on. But that's enough about me right now. But yeah, I started with the company in October. Basically, the orientation is you go through the hiring process, blah, blah, blah. Very simple. It's not hard. Once you do that, you're going to figure out where you're going to go to orientation. I went to orientation in Conley, Georgia. So basically, they tell you your start date. They put you in a hotel. They give you 3 meals. They originally said they're going to give you 3 meals a day. What it actually is the hotel gives you continental breakfast, and they give you a lunch from the day throughout the day, but the lunch is not that great. I worked in the jail before I became a road patrol officer, and I've seen inmates have better lunch than what they're giving me. But nonetheless, it's free food, so don't sit there and complain, because some people don't have food in this world as it is. So it's just a little brown bag with a small sandwich in it, a piece of fruit, and a bag of chips, and maybe a cookie or a brownie. Sometimes you don't even get any of that. It's just a sandwich. And it's not even a 6-inch sandwich. It's like 4 inches long, 2 pieces of meat thrown in it, half of a slice of tomato, and like a piece of lettuce, and it's a thick sub bread for sub sandwiches, so it's not very proportionate. I mean, it's not that good, but like I said, free food. Then after that, you're supposed to furnish your own dinner. They tell you that they pay you $500 a week, which they do. However, you don't get the $500 during your first 2 weeks there. You don't see your first paycheck until your third week. Your third week that you're actually testing for your CDL. You don't. That's when you see your first $500 paycheck, and that's before taxes. So after you get the paycheck, it's like 3 something. And then after that, that's when the paycheck starts coming in. But basically, the day 1 and day 2, day 1 and half of day 2, you're going to be doing a lot of the clerical side of it, filling out the paperwork, watching safety videos, all that kind of fun stuff, watching all those videos, filling out all the paperwork. After that, day 2, second half, they start teaching you about pre-trip. Day 3, that's when you start driving. You're going through the basics, learning how to shift. Then after that, if you show that you can kind of get the concept, which is really not that hard, it's very easy to shift. You get the concept, they'll take you out onto the main, I guess, road that's in front of the company, since there's several companies side by side. It's like Roehl, Old Dominion, and then like several others. You just go down the street, so you don't have to worry about any cars just going and getting in your way. So you'll drive up and down that street, drive around the yard. They call it the Roehl 500, because you basically just go in circles around the shop. And then after that, you're doing all that, you show that you can continue doing well, they'll take you out to the street the next day. And then you're actually driving around the streets of Conley and on 285 and 675 around there, you're driving the truck, just bobtailing, which means no trailer. And then after that, you just gradually progress on and on and on until it's time for you to test for your CDL. That's how it is. You're supposed to have a roommate. My brother came to the company with me as well. He wanted to start driving trucks too. So we were fortunate enough where they're able to hook us up to where we could get a room together. So I mean, for me, it's not that issue. But if you have an issue living with somebody else for a few weeks, then yeah, you're going to have a problem, because you're going to stay with somebody. One guy in our class got lucky; he didn't have a roommate, and the fourth guy in our class, he lived out in the area, so he didn't have to worry about having anybody, because he just went home every single night. I will say the classes are small. The classes are 4 people per class, and the instructors are second to none. I mean, by the time you're finished and you have your CDL, you know how to drive the truck. There's so many places around Conley and around just the whole general Atlanta area where it is tight for a truck, and they're not hesitant on putting you in those scenarios. They want to break that fear out of you, because when you go out here to the real world and you're out here, you don't have time to be sitting here getting to a tight turn and sweating your pants off because, oh my God, I got to make this tight turn and I'm in this big old truck. They break that out of you, out the gate with Roehl. You're never put in a situation that you feel like you can't handle. If you do, you can say it. They're not gonna sweat you for it. The instructors are outstanding. Like you're gonna have a great time. They're not gonna make you do anything you're not ready for. And then they've been training and driving trucks for so long, they can sense your comfort level. So they'll know like, okay, he may be ready for this, he may not be ready for this. They'll tell you're not gonna come here and have issues. It's not that hard. So yeah, after that, after you finish getting your CDL, the 4th week is just finalizing certain things and then checking off on certain other things that the company wants you to check off on before you go with the trainer. Going on the road with the trainer, you have to be with them for 21 days. You can choose to go home after you get your CDL. If you say you want to go home, they'll ask you for how long. All right, cool. You'll go home for that period of time. After you're done with that time, then you'll go with the trainer. I opted as soon as I got my CDL. That following week, I went straight out on the road with a trainer because I wanted to be able to go out on the road with the trainer, finish my 21 days of training, and get my own truck and be able to come back home for my son's birthday. It was his first birthday, and it's my first kid, so I was going to do the best I can to make it happen where I'd be home for him. And I was. Roehl's very good with that. They're very good with getting you home on time. Some people don't have that, might not have that experience with Roehl. I'm sure I'll get comments on this video at some point, somebody saying, well, I didn't have that experience. I can only speak for me and how things work with me. I get home when I want to get home. I might get home late that day, but nonetheless, I do get home on the day that I asked to be home on. There's only been one time where I didn't get home on the day I wanted to get home on. I got home the next day, and that had nothing to do with Roehl. One of the companies I had to go to that day, they were taking their sweet time, and I was at the place for 4 hours, and it was a full day full of driving and being on duty. Had I not been stuck at that place for 4 hours, I would have been able to make it home that day, but unfortunately I was not able to because that business held me up. So like I said, one time wasn't even Roehl's fault. People want to know about the pay. The pay is, you start at 33 cents a mile. That's one thing that kind of, you have other companies out here that pay more. Millage Transfer starts you at 40, paid CDL program. Prime starts you, I believe, 40. Paid CDL program. There's so many other companies out here that start you with more, but I can say that Roehl gives you amazing, driver training on how to do your job, and you cannot put a price tag on having great training. But what is this guy doing? Okay, he's trying to back. Sorry, I'm at a truck stop right now. Guy just pulled onto the scale, trying to back off, and there's like a 2-foot drop, and he put his passenger side steering tire off the side, just completely just fell over. I'm sorry, but that's not the company. So after I finished my days with my trainer, got my own truck, and they worked me back home. Another thing is, people like to ask, will the company give you miles? I get great miles. I know I get 30. My average right now, as of today, my fleet manager told me that I usually my average is about 2,800 miles a week, which is very good because the company says that most people average 2,500. I'm averaging 28. And on top of that, I've had some weeks where my truck has been broken down. It's in the shop. I have to use a spare truck, and I'm only getting like 1,500, 2,000 miles because they don't want to send you too far, because they want you to be able to come back and get your truck. They want you to be as comfortable as possible. So I've had that experience. But for the most part, I can get 3,200 to 3,500 miles a week. Now, I also will have people comment on this, saying that's BS. You're not getting 3,200, 3,500 miles a week running an electronic logbook, the ELDs. Yes, you can. It's all about how you log it. I'm not saying come out here and cheat and lie, but you need to be able to log it. Log what you're doing. Log it the way you do it, but do the best you can to save your time. And that means basically putting yourself on some form of a break or off-duty status, to where your 14-hour clock might keep running, but your actual clock or your actual 70-hour time does not drain away. And if you save your hours, you can do 3,200 to 3,500 miles a week. And like I said, some people will say Roehl didn't give me kind of miles like that. I get great miles with the company. I get outstanding miles. They say in the first 6 months with the company, you're not going to go out west, and you're not going to go so far up north into New York and whatnot. They just want to keep you in a certain area. Okay, I have been at the company a little over 6 months. I've been to almost every state already. They've already sent me out to Seattle, Washington. I've gotten the experience of coming out of on I-90, going into Seattle, running through the pass, middle of the night, having to chain up in the middle of winter because the roads are so icy and the chain law is in effect. I've had that experience, and it was before being with them for 6 months. So they say that we're not going to send you out there. It's up to your fleet manager. My fleet manager, he said, Raymond, you're running it. And you know what? I enjoyed it. I saw parts of the country I've never seen before. I loved it. So and I never turned down the load. I always take it. And that's another reason why you're going to get good miles. You have some people who say, I don't get any miles. Well, why not? well, I don't want to go to this state, I don't want to go to this state, I don't want to run here, I don't want to do this. There's usually a reason why people don't get many miles, and that is a big one. People constantly want to deny loads because they don't want to run where they're telling them to, or I don't want to take this load, it's only 300 miles total, that's not even a full day's work. Yes, they might have to give you that load to get you to point, B, but when you get set up at point B, you have to drive 60 miles on an empty trailer, pick up this load that's going to literally take you 1,500 miles. So I get a lot of loads out of 1,500 miles. As a matter of fact, I can show right now. Look at just looking at my workflow. This shows the loads that I have done. Now this includes my truck breaking down. Let me see if I can flip this camera around while I'm recording. Alright, well, I can't do it. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see I have one load, 1539, 1033, 691, 665, 528. So like I said, my truck kind of broke down. Actually, it did break down, so I had to use a spare truck for a few times. But it's the nature of the beast. But usually my loads are over 1,000 miles. Every load I get, and I'm able to do them. So yeah, that's that. This is just an intro video. My first video I'm putting up on YouTube. So I'm still trying to learn how to do it. I'm going to try to figure out how to get to where the comments are enabled. So feel free to leave comments. Something else you might want me to talk about in another video about the company. Something I completely forgot to say. And I'm open to talking about anything, not just truck driving. If you ask me a question about, say, hey, what was it like being a cop? Well, it's the process of becoming a cop. You might be on YouTube late at night, bored, and I do this too. You're on YouTube late at night, bored, just scrolling through random videos, and then you end up on my video, and you want to know, hey, how did you become a cop? What was the process of doing that? Well, ask me any question you want. I'm an honest, open person, and send me an email. I guess it links to my email on here. I don't know. We'll leave a comment on the video or send an email. I don't mind answering, and I'll definitely be doing more videos in the future. But yeah.